John Deere? How did John Deere get on this farm? Case IH 8250.
That is a wrap for Harvest 2020, folks.
Signing off for the 2020 harvest.
It's harvest time again, and the challenge of harvesting wheat and barley here in some of the West's most rugged country is on. Join me as I show you the ins and outs of our family's harvest here in central Montana.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and it is day whatever. I have completely forgotten. We're just about done with barley. We're actually getting done with barley today, hopefully, if all goes well.
Morning, Riley.
What's happenings?
Oh, we've got lots of irons in the fire today. I think your grandfather and I going out here east of your grandfather's house, and we're gonna cut some malt barley. And we're sending the custom cutter and the 2 tandem trucks over here just a little bit north of the place and cut a little bit of straw barley, and then plus a little bit out there at Jenkins. So then we're going to switch concaves and go over south and finish up that 17 acres of winter wheat. So we got lots of irons and lots of fires today, Riley.
So what we have going on behind me is a bin change that is about to happen. So you'll see Noah is on top of the bin over there. Tyson is at the bottom dumping the truck. Noah can look at the grain levels at the top of the bin and let Tyson know when to shut the flow of grain off. Then what's going to happen is they're going to move the truck out of the way. They're going to move the auger out of this bin, and they're going to switch over to the next one over that way, I believe. So that way we can make a nice easy transition into a new bin. Everything's in kilometers. I don't know how to drive this thing. So back here you can see our dumping stations. Station number 1, staffed by Mr. American Tyson, is dumping the hay barley into a small little bin right there, and it looks like things are getting intense enough with that. I see Dad inside our next small little bin, and we'll be putting some overflow in that one, it looks like. This auger over here is for malt barley, which we have just wrapped up. We are done with malt barley now. So now we're going back to winter wheat. What I don't know is, are we trucking the winter wheat to the elevator, or are we going to try and bin it? We are getting a little short on bin space. We have 3 bin sites. I'm at the main bin site at the main farm, and we've only got 2 5,000 bushel bins left over there, and 1 10,000 bushel aeration bin that will be for some of the spring wheat. The spring wheat's gonna cut a little wet. So you've seen a lot of scenery about these Missouri breaks, but I don't think I've really talked about some of the history of the breaks and us farming in the breaks before. And really it is quite simple. First of all, the Missouri breaks and the location we are at, you can see down in this bottom, there's a river. That is the Judith River. The Judith River flows from the Judith Basin, which is probably about 60 miles out that way towards some mountains here in central Montana. It flows all the way up to the Missouri River, which is back that way. So that's basically what happened, is the rivers carved out all of this 1,000-foot drop-off madness and carved out some epic country. Now, when you're on top of the breaks here, this is all flat and very productive soil. This is actually some of our best farm ground at our farm. So, great place to farm, although quite remote. But yeah, it's all flat. We grow crops here. Most of the land out here we do not own, though. Quite a bit of this is still leased land from a very generous leaser. It's beautiful country. We're definitely extraordinarily blessed to be able to farm in a place like this. Does it come with its challenges? Yes, it does. It definitely does. 60 miles away from the nearest grain elevator, 2 to 3 hours away from the nearest city that's large enough to contain a Walmart or whatever for shopping that's not just a grocery store. It's challenging out here. Cell service, pretty limited out here, but we make it work. Very blessed to be out here. Very blessed to have land out here that is still in production agriculture as well. Today might be the last day of Harvest 2020, so buckle up because it's going to be a good one. And we got 3 combines to help us finish today. So we might actually be able to do this. 400 acres left, a little more than 400 actually, but we got 3 combines. 2 of these are not ours, one of them is. Let's go ahead and explain each one a little bit. But first, yes, we did have a Case IH 8250 on the farm a little while back. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to get very good footage of it, and it honestly wasn't around for a whole lot of time either, so that just made things tough with it. But we did get a little bit on that combine. Now, a couple things with what Case IH is doing these days with combines such as this 8250, everything can be fully automated. Yes, Case IH has abilities for the combine to maintain its ground speed based on proper feeding of the crop and other factors. It can also change sieves, rotor speed, fan speed, all on the fly while in the field. Pretty cool stuff. Case IH combines, they are definitely quite awesome machines for sure. Okay, but now we got this green machine behind me here. What's up with this? John Deere? How did John Deere get on this farm? Excellent question. This is a John Deere S780 combine. It's the equivalent to the Case IH whatever 80. It would go head to head with that 8250 really well. Unfortunately, they both weren't out at the same time for us to really make them go head to head. But this is an impressive machine as well over on the green side. John Deere has a lot of the same technology as Case when it comes to harvest automations, and it's pretty sweet. What's up with this yellow combine? Well, this is a New Holland CR 8.90 dual rotor combine. That means it has 2 rotors inside of that thing, not just one. And boy, is this thing a beast. This is the one that we hire out from L. Peterson Farms in Hodgeville, Saskatchewan, Canada. The Peterson Farms crew has been helping us out for pretty much since I was alive, at least. They have always been around every year for helping us to some capacity with expediting our harvest process by bringing more combines, trucks, and whatever else. Pretty cool machine. It is also worth noting that New Holland and Case IH have a lot of similarities because they are both CNH machines. Case IH and New Holland are both under the same umbrella. Also, there are subtle mechanical differences between all these combines as well. For example, Case and New Holland, the rotor is hydraulically driven. John Deere's, pretty sure it's got a belt on that thing. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that's a hydraulic rotor in there. Also, we can talk about headers really quick as well. MacDon versus a John Deere header. And it's not a fair comparison at all because we are comparing some more advanced MacDon headers with a more basic rigid Deere header. So these MacDons are called flex draper headers. That means the header has the ability to run on the ground and even kind of flex with the current terrain slope, if that makes sense. A lot of people who cut lentils need a flex draper. It's handy for our country as well though, because we are just not the flattest place on the earth. We have a lot of up and down and slight side hilly stuff in our fields. They also come with pea augers. These help move the peas to the center because peas have a tendency to not just follow the draper canvases on the header. And there's a few other differences between MacDon and Deere headers as well. MacDon uses springs. Deere uses, actually this is where hydraulics come in on Deere, for the floating aspect of the header, or the ability for the header to kind of bounce on the feeder house back and forth like this. I believe Deere's is hydraulic cylinders, although their drive for the canvases and cutter bar and everything is old school PTO. Cab tour time. We'll start with the red one. This is one of the newer versions of their cab. Since 2012, I believe they've redone them. And this is the version we have in this one. So, pretty simple, tons of room in this cab. underneath the seat, you will find a large, it's gone, it's missing. Anyway, there's a whole refrigerator that can go down there, a refrigerated lunchbox, and you just have a lot of storage. Ooh, someone has some snacks in here. Lots of storage pockets in these new Case combines. There's a ton behind the seat as well, so you can put, you know, towels, instruction manuals. You have cubby holes in here as well. Pretty nice cabs. And then you have your whole command arm here, some various settings, throttle, gear shifter. Here's your Pro 700 monitor that logs everything, and you do pretty much everything from here. All your gauges are in here. Everything's in here. This is mission control right here. And then this is your most frequently used controls right here. So header, reel, unloading auger, auto steer, whatever this thing does. Something with the header to make the header be smart and such. Pretty cool. Oh, and you do have a steering wheel for occasional use when you actually have to steer the combine. So that comes in handy sometimes as well. Ooh, this one's gonna be nice. All right, yellow one, largely the same as Cases with a few subtle differences. You still have all your cubbyhole space. Same exact thing that's in the Case. This is a lot the same monitor, but these things are different. Controls are different. This guy's different looking. The one thing about New Hollands, which is kind of weird, is your hydro lever does not have a defined gap between forward and reverse. It just kind of floats right back into the middle here, which is kind of interesting. You also have some different things up here as well, but it is largely the same. Let's go to the John Deere combine. This one is definitely a little different. Not quite as much room anywhere in this cab. All of our cubby holes kind of just disappear in this cab, but you will notice this guy looks quite a bit different. Completely different controls. We have two monitors. Think of this second one as just a second monitor that you would have on a, you know, normal computer setup, which makes things kind of handy for having more info up at once. That's about it. The John Deere also includes a steering wheel, just in case you need to manually drive your combine. By the way, guys, I'm being a little sarcastic with all this. You're still on the steering wheel a lot of the time when driving these things. Anyway, guys, that's about it for the 3 different combines. Which one would you like to drive if you had the choice between this green, this yellow one, or this red one? Let me know in the comments below. Got Mr. Tanner here with us from Frontline Ag. He is in charge of this pretty awesome green combine that we're taking for a spin today. So, Tanner, why should people buy one of these things?
Because they're green.
There you go. That's all you need to know. Everybody's full. Poor Sam can't even keep up anymore. We're 70%. He's probably about the same. He's full. But hey, we're getting it done. Want to see something cool? John Deere Harvest Smart Automation. This combine is doing everything by itself right now. Pretty amazing, isn't it? So it is doing my ground speed, it's making sure that it's feeding the proper amount of crop into the combine. It's also on GPS, of course, which is not perfect right now because I just remarked to a new track and left a little bit of wiggle room on that end, but we'll be straightening this off and fixing it on the next passes. Pretty cool stuff. Oh, and here's a live camera of the sample too, so I can always have a little peek at what's going on inside the combine. Pretty neat stuff. And yes, the Case IH ones do that as well. There's plenty on YouTube if you want to see Case's full automation combines. They're pretty neat as well. All right, guys, here we go. Last pass, and we're done. 3, 2, 1. That is a wrap for Harvest 2020, folks. Thank you very much for coming along. This was fun. Let's go ahead and get our grain off and call it a year. All right, Mr. Peterson, what's going on?
Oh, just glad to be done. Gonna go start cleaning machinery now and head back to Canada.
Yep, he's going back to his home territories. He painted a Canadian maple leaf on the ground at the auger bin. That must be how much he misses home. Please welcome, for the final time, the Samuelson Report.
Well, I think it's Monday, the 24th day of August. So, we've pretty much been at it. Started on July the 31st and wrapped her up here this morning about 11 o'clock. So, been a pretty fair harvest other than the grasshopper damage. But just one more harvest in the books out here. 14 years out here with the Slivka family. And I guess this is the last professional cart driver in the world, otherwise known as Samuelson, signing off for the 2020 harvest.